Good afternoon, everybody. This is Mike Feldbauer from the Flagler County Drug Court Foundation coming to you from the Flagler Voice podcast studio. I have a very special guest in the studio today, and we'll be right back and you'll get to meet her. And here we are back with you. And my guest today is Kristal Spry. Kristal is currently a drug court participant in the Flagler County Drug Court program and is on to talk about her experience in the world of recovery and whatever she feels comfortable talking about, where she came from, where she is now, how she feels that the program is helping her. I hope that she'll feel that way, and we'll go from there. So please say hi to Kristal. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me today.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm very grateful to be here.
Well, we're glad to have you here. So what we want to do is talk a little bit about what brought you, and if whatever you're comfortable, what brought you into the drug court program?
Well, of course, I'm in recovery. I suffer from alcoholism. And I wasn't treating my alcoholism, all these things that I had heard along the years. I pretty much ignored this last time, numerous trips to jail. This last time, I was in there and I'm like, okay, God, what do you want me to do? Like, what am I supposed to do here? And I heard drug court in my spirit. So I was like, oh, they're not going to give me drug court. So I stepped out in faith. I asked, a couple people in the SMART program, hey, look, like I want to do drug court. And everyone's like, oh, you're crazy. That's like a set, people that's failed at drug court. It's a setup. And, and I told him, I said, your experience is your experience, my experience may be different. And I have to say that drug court has been, for me, has been very what's the word, detrimental. Like, it's been very important part of my recovery. The connections, the people that have reached out to help me, getting grounded in the SMART program, what the Flagler County Sheriff's Office and Daniel Ingert, the chief, is doing through that jail with the SMART program. That lays the foundation. I came in there with, all these things like emotional issues, from my past trauma. And, SMART program gave me like that foundation to learn how to cope. They gave me skills. And, the thing is, it's about applying them. I think that's where it really lies, is when you get out and applying those to your life, and how they continue to stay connected to you once you leave, right?
Can you explain to our audience a little bit about what that SMART program is? I mean, our jail does things that other jails don't do, and it's terrific. But you've come through that program. Can you explain a little bit of what goes on?
So with the SMART program, the one thing is Chief is very, very picky about who he lets in there. He wants to see that you are the people that you communicate with. He wants to know that you want to do something about your issue. He wants to know that you want the help. So that's the beginning. Once you get in there, they do monitor who you speak to, which I think is the best thing. I think it's very important, because I've watched a couple girls who were communicating with some very bad people, and Chief put them in the hole. Said, you better think about it. And they came out a totally different person, and their life is totally different today. And it really started there, right? People, places, and things they talk about in recovery, and that, it's so true. So that's a big part of it in the beginning. And then once you get in there, you have several classes each day. You meet every morning. We do a meditation, a prayer. We have every type of recovery book, for AA, NA, because, recovery is not just one size fits all. It's a lot more than just drugs and alcohol. There's girls in there are suffering. A lot of them are suffering from a heart condition. Really at the end of the day, it's not that they're bad people, they're criminals, they're convicts. They're suffering from a heart condition. And the way the system's been treating that is through jails and institutions. And that's just, it's not the answer. It's really not the answer. We got to get, on the track of getting people rehabilitated and recovered. Because at the end of the day, not only does that help the individual, I believe that through my experience watching, it also helps the community as a whole, right? Um, so you go to your classes, you do one-on-ones. They have an amazing therapist, Donna. She meets with the girls individually and works with them after listening to them talk and getting to know them. She works with them, like she might give this person something with codependency, this person anger. We do have anger management class as well. um, and we do a lot. We do a lot of God. I mean, God is in that building. Some people might not agree with it, but I'm going to talk about God today because
You are welcome to talk about it.
so we go to we have classes. Parkview comes in, does some classes. Some lady comes in, Miss Terry, she comes in, does a class with us. We have several different churches that come in, we do class with them. We have several different, well, we actually have a lady that comes from AA, and comes in and does a AA meeting with the girls just individually for the SMART. And then we also have classes at night, like AA meetings and stuff. So we do that. We do have like little special events. We get to eat good food, not just gel food. Chief is very good to us, and a lot of those deputies over there are good to us. And I think that's what makes the difference. They treat us like human beings. Now, yes, we do have a couple that get on us, but you need both. You need a balance of both. Everything can't be just so easy, right? Because you don't grow, you don't learn if you're not pushed, right? So that's basically what it is. And then they link you up with housing when you leave. They reach out to the community, they link you up with people. They link you up with services. They have the JET program. So Epic treatment centers here in Flagler County now. It used to only be in St. Augustine. So they have a very good team over there, along with Miss Allison from drug court. She's absolutely amazing. But Janine, that's over there, she played a big part in when I first got out in my life. And I think that's what made the difference, because I could call her and I could talk to her and just be like, I'm ready to lose it. Like, this is so much. They want me to do all this stuff. I can't believe they want me to pay all this money. Like, right? But now that's went away. But at first, that's the struggle. A lot of us lose our license coming out because of fines. It's hard to get around. You got to be subjected to people you don't want to be around. Uber is super expensive. That's a lot of money. And how are you supposed to pay with all this stuff, right? It's a lot. It
Yeah.
is a lot. So a lot of people don't make it the way that it's set up, but I believe that Flagler County is beginning to make a tremendous change in that. And I think that's, where the rubber meets the road. That is just so helpful. Um, it just does something to you spiritually. Like when you see that connection, the transparency in that, it's something's planted in that moment. Um, so that's a little bit about the SMART program. Um,
Yeah, I typically on almost every one of these recorded broadcasts, when I bring people in reference to the drug court program, I do talk about the jail, because we are so blessed here to have the program they have out there, whether they're coming from SMART into the drug court
mhm.
program or just coming through the SMART program and following up with the rest of this that SMART has to offer. We offer more in our jail as a correctional institution. Okay, we are truly correctional.
Mhm.
Okay, it's not just that. Between the SMART program and all the job training programs they have out at the jail to get people in a better position when they come out.
Right.
Sheriff Staley says, "Come through the county, we'll get you."
Right. It's
But
true.
yeah, but we're going to also give you an opportunity not to come back and to be better than you were when you came in. And in my travels throughout the state and checking on different drug courts and different programs, there's nothing like it out there except for what we have here.
Right.
And our jail is one, and our sheriff's department is one of the few county organizations that actually works on helping people in recovery. And it's really great to understand and know that. So you came through the program. It's what, 90 days, is it?
Yes, you do 90 days
And then
in
you
the smart, or
then
you could be there longer. Actually, some people are there a little longer depending on their sentence.
okay,
So the chief lets them stay in there. It is a 90-day program, but he will let them stay in there and continue to build on them.
that's fantastic.
And then sometimes people are gonna mess up. You're gonna a lot of people who come into recovery or suffer from institutionalization, when you get out, I mean, it's bound to happen. And just the grace that's given to you when you come back, I think that right there is was a big part for me. I had a messed up a little bit after 19 months, you know, because I stopped doing the things I thought I was better, right? That
Mm-hmm.
thought that all, they talk about in the big book, that we think we can drink successfully like others, right? After a long period of time, right? But really at the end of the day, you're much worse. I was much worse off as I was when I was real bad at my addiction, just in a matter of days, right? And that's what the book talks about.
Yeah,
So
well, that's
that's
so true in almost any addiction. I was a 2 pack a day smoker,
mm-hmm.
and I quit 6 times. So I relapsed 6 times. Okay, and I know after each one of those, when I relapsed, I was smoking more that next day than it was
Mm-hmm.
the day that I had quit before.
Right.
So until I got to the point that seventh time and I had what I needed to do to hang on to it, and have not relapsed now in 42 years in that. But it is tough, and you have to understand that. And that's one of the reasons that we also see so many deaths around. You
Mm-hmm.
get people involved with in the opiate world of addiction, and
Mm-hmm.
they've been off it for 6 7 months, and they get triggered, and they didn't have the support team they needed, or didn't
Mm-hmm.
reach out to the support team they needed, and the first time they take that next hit, it's death
Right.
because their body's not ready for it yet.
Mm-hmm.
So those are things that we have to look out for in our community.
Yes.
And we also want to talk about, for us as the Drug Court Foundation, which we're designed to help people in the program, take some of the burdens off of them so they can concentrate on their recovery. But we're also have to educate our community.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to have a different look, a different understanding of those that are going through what you've been going through and what
Mm-hmm.
others in the program have been going through. You're not criminals. You might have done some criminal stuff to get through your addiction, okay? But that was the addiction, not who you were,
Right.
okay? And we have to be positive when we're talking to people that are going through these programs. We got to
Right.
keep saying what it says on the back of our card and what people are seeing on the screen right now. There's hope,
Yes.
but hope has to be reinforced by those outside of the ones that are in the recovery. It has to be their families. It has to be our overall community saying, we want to give them that hope.
Right.
It's not, and I always say, this is addiction, substance abuse in our county can't be looked at as some Hollywood movie. It's not the back alleys of New York, Chicago, LA. It's in every neighborhood. There are no boundaries. It hits everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to understand that, as you said earlier, a lot of this addiction comes from trauma that people have
Mm-hmm.
gone through in their lives.
Mm.
So we have to be more cognizant of that as we're going out and helping. I tell everybody that the general population can be part of the solution or part of the problem. They have to make a choice.
Right.
If you want to be part of the solution, we need to offer hope to people that want help and need help and have an understanding. The government has made it a disease. It's legally a disease, addiction. Why is that? Because they know there's some medical attachments to it and they know that it needs help. Okay. So we have to look at it in that respect.
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand, if they don't know anything about addiction. Something that happens to us, a lot of us were looking for relief, right? We have this emotional turmoil, and you know you go to the bar to have a drink, right? An alcoholic or an addict, and you go to the bar to have a drink, and you take that first drink, and what happens is that you the thought, the overwhelming urge to use comes and it don't go away. That thought is paramount to all other thoughts. It does not, that's all your brain can go to, and you're just seeking relief from the emotional turmoil, all the things going on in your life. If something, traumatic has happened, right? I mean, it's instant relief. And we don't have the first mental defense against that first drink, if we're not treating our alcoholism or our addiction or our trauma, right? Or whatever recovery looks like for you, whatever it is that you are suffering from. But when that thought comes, it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop until you pick up, and then it continues. You just chase that, right? Nothing else matters. And it's not that you want to think like that. I can remember many times I was out there in the streets and I would be like, please God, I don't want to use today. Please God, help me, please God. And everyone's using around me, right? Because this is just the beginning. I put myself in situations that I know now. But at the time, you can't differentiate the true from the false. An alcoholic or an addict, they can't differentiate. They don't know that, hey, going down here with Sarah was going to land you in jail for 2 years. You don't, you do. It's just insane. But I can remember that, just begging God to not pick up. And I would have to use, I would use, and I didn't want to. And that happens, and it's painful in that moment. It's very painful, and you're like, what can I do to make this go away? Something like, when you do figure it out that you have a problem, it's like, what can I do? And you don't know what to do. How do I stop this thought? How do I stop from picking up? How do I get rid of this anxiety? And anxiety can get you in a lot of trouble too. You know how many times I've been in trouble with law enforcement because I had anxiety?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Your brain does not think normal. It's like flight or fight mode. And it's true. It's so true. And it has gotten me in a lot of trouble. And then I'm in jail and I'm like, I don't understand, God, why I'm in jail. I'm just hurting, what is it? And it's like, it's a hard process.
Well, I think what I've heard from you too, that you're learning a lot of the techniques that you need to control that.
Mm-hmm.
How if there's a trigger that hits you, what you need to work on to control that trigger from moving into an actual use. And I think with the groups that you're now surrounding yourself
Right.
with, you've got the other end of a phone. It's
Mm-hmm.
there. You need it.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope you understand that the drug court team is there for you
Oh yeah.
whenever you need it. And not just while you're in the program, even after graduation. We're always going to be there for the people that have come through the program to do what we can do to help them continue. We want to celebrate that 5-year mark,
Right. Yeah.
and that 10-year mark. And it's difficult for us, the people on our end of it, and I tell people it's like being bipolar. We see great things happening,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden we'll get that phone call. So we want to see more great things happening. And the only phone calls we want to get is an invitation to the celebrations,
Mm-hmm.
the parties to involve that are celebrating each and every time that you reach another goal and continue to work on those goals. So you've been in the drug court program for about how long now?
Since January.
January.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so fairly new.
Oh,
Doing
December. I'm sorry, December.
okay.
December.
And I know that you've been doing very well.
Yes.
And that's really good.
By the grace of God.
Yeah. Well, you know, God's grace is phenomenal, but He also gives us choice. And you're taking the choices and turning them into good things.
Right.
And we keep doing that. God will never leave you, even when you screw up. He's going to be there. I always talk about Peter walking on the water. And he's out there and he gets distracted, okay,
Yep.
which can happen in addiction, right? And he starts to sink, but he doesn't sink because two things happen. Jesus put his hand out and Peter reached up to grab it. He never went totally under the water, but he was on the way down. Okay? So in the world of recovery, you have to learn how to reach out to those hands that are out there to help pull you up if you get into a problem. Distractions are there every day of our lives for every one of us. We don't want those distractions to turn into your triggers that you don't have control over. So learning how to deal with those and learning who can help you get through those when they happen. They're out there.
Yeah.
And so you just keep working on that stuff. And I think, the benefit that you've had coming through that SMART program where you really had some kind of help almost 5 days a week while you were in that program.
Yes.
Okay. And then being now in the drug court program, and you've been doing extremely well. And I got to tell those that are listening out there, Kristal also comes out and helps us as the Drug Court Foundation, particularly when we do First Friday down at Flagler Beach. She's out there helping and talking to people, telling people that come up to the table what's going on and what's happening and how she's dealing with it.
Mm-hmm.
So we're really pleased to have you as part of our team and helping
Thank
us when we need that kind of help. So,
I mean, I feel so blessed. I gotta say, like we talk about the SMART program, but the drug court, like, there's like you said, reach out for the hand, right? The choices. It's my choice, right? So today I call Mr. D. Today I choose to just go down to the courthouse and show up on Mr. D and just talk to him. I choose to go to my classes and actually listen and apply those things. And, doing that has like, I have a healthy relationship at home. I have wonderful friends, and, when I came into, when I first started out in jail right before the SMART program, I had to say, like, I had a stronghold with that hatred towards law enforcement, and it was a very bad, it was a very strong stronghold, and I did not like cops, and I never in a million years would imagine, you know, those would be like a best friend helping me. No one in this drug court team wants nothing in return, right? They honestly, truly, and you can tell it's genuine, right? The sheriff's office chief, Danielle, Will, everyone that's in that group, right? That gang, right?
mm-hmm.
It's a powerful gang, right? And the Holy Spirit, man, is definitely alive and active through so every single one of you, right? And I choose to reach out to those people and talk to those people today, and chief, he challenged me. He's like, you need to start talking to people that are not just in recovery. He's like, I want you to reach outside of that and grow other people in different areas of life. And right, I mean, it's so true. And I'm just so grateful because I never had the opportunity before, right? I guess God never gave it to me, maybe because I wasn't ready, but I'm very blessed to, have that. And why not take advantage of it, especially when your life has been so bad? Like, it just, you can't help but want to help. The gratitude that it gives me, right? The desire, the burning, right? And it makes you want to help others, right? Because there was a point in time, like, I've always believed in God, but there was a point in time in my life I didn't want to pray for nobody. I'm like, I'm not praying for them. I just, I don't know. God definitely snatched me up though, and put me in the right place. And like I said, I'm just so grateful, and to have a program today. With Alcoholics Anonymous, I do Recovery Church too as well. My sponsor's real big on helping others. I did just get my first sponsee, so we'll see how that goes. So I'm very grateful, and it's humbling. It's humbling for someone to ask you to help them, and you're like, well, what do I have to offer, right? You don't realize, like, people, you do, like, one alcoholic or someone that's been through something helping another, like like I said, the transparency in that, what takes place.
Yeah, and we remember that whatever brought you into the addiction world, the trauma that you were talking about and covering up pain and all that other kind of stuff, that when you finally get to the point in life that you appear to be in, God will use those things. He didn't create it. He didn't cause it. He didn't make you an alcoholic so you could help alcoholics later.
Right.
But he's given you the opportunity now to give back.
Right.
And like we've talked before, the whole world of recovery is like, and they won't see it here. I got one hand up and one hand down. I'm reaching up to the next person that knows more and can help me, and I'm reaching back to pull the person up behind me. So that's the key part of what's happening there. So, and you are on that road.
Yeah, I'm in surrendered state, right?
You
Taking
got
direction.
you got it. You got it.
Taking direction.
Yeah. So we've got only we got about 6 minutes left. We can still do some wrapping up.
Mhm.
What advice would you have to somebody that's in a recovery program, whether it's drug court, smart, or just in general out there? What are one or two key factors that you've learned that you would tell people these are the things that you've got to concentrate on, particularly early in recovery?
Something that you need to concentrate on early in recovery.
Mm-hmm.
Yourself, right? Your
Mm-hmm.
relationship with your higher power, building on that. Being persistent, not giving up, no matter how bad it is. Just to keep showing up. And the one thing is, you don't come into the program fully trusting your higher power. It's a process, right? Came to believe, right? And it gets better. God gets bigger. You enlarge your spiritual territory. Um, and God will show up, right? Um, and I think that people, places, and things, the people that usually when someone's telling you something you don't like and you feel that in your spirit, you feel that tightening in your spirit, that means you need to listen. It's a breaking. God is trying to break you free from something. When they say, don't do that, don't talk to that person, guess what? They're probably right, right? I think taking direction, doing things you don't want to do. When you're tired and you don't want to go to that meeting, you get up and go. When you're told to do something you don't want to do it. Don't even think about it. Just do it. And I mean that's what's really worked for me, and being kind to others, helping others, right? Because when I'm all caught up in myself, or I'm watching for fear, anxiety, and all those things, right? That my book gives me direction, right? It gives me direction because it says we alcoholics are undisciplined people, right? God disciplines us in this simple way. So we stop, we pause when we're agitated or doubtful, or we do the inventory at night. These things, right? They do bring freedom, right? Those steps are there to lift that obsession, right? And then what happens is God begins to just transform you from the inside out, right? And I used to look at Alcoholics Anonymous. Oh, I don't need Alcoholics Anonymous. I got God, right? That didn't work. God had to show me this is a gift. Unwrap it. I work through people, right? That's what he told me. I work through people, and guess what? It's not all these treatment centers saving everyone's lives. It's that. Look how many people have recovered. NA, AA. It's working the program. It's in the action, and I think those are some things. The action, because you can know everything in that book. It's not going to keep you sober. You can go to 90 meetings in 90 days. That ain't going to keep you sober. You can do your gratitude list. Tell me if that gratitude list keeps you sober when it's in your pocket and you're ready to get high. You ain't gonna care about that gratitude list. It's in the action. It says that when God is our new employer, and if we kept close to him and performed his work well, he'll provide what we need. And that's helping his kids, helping another individual, I think is very important.
2 minutes. Excellent. Well, I really appreciate you being with us today. I really do. I know that you had some apprehension about being here, and you wanted me to have a lot of questions for you. But like I said, probably wouldn't need them. Just a few every once in a while. You've done fantastic. I think a lot of people are going to benefit from your conversation here. We'll get it out. This will be released tomorrow, so it'll be out tomorrow morning. And we're going to have you come back. Okay. Give you some time, keep going into what you're doing, and come back and talk some more about today, and then whatever that is, a month or two, see if there's what the difference, what more have you been able to accomplish for yourself in doing that. So I thank you again. And this is Mike Bellbauer from the Flagler County Drug Court Foundation, getting to sign off today from the Flagler Voice podcast studio.